race fans, this is Jason. Our drivers here at Elko Speedway want to wind up here in Victory Lane. But they've got to begin somewhere. Let's head to the pits and find out where they got their start.
Well, my mom took me to daycare, put me on the floor, and I just beat all the other kids to the other side.
You know, it all started probably when I was like 4 or 5 years old.
I was always a big fan when I was a kid.
I got started actually from my dad.
Well, we built this car in my auto class.
My dad used to be a crew guy for Dewey Guston.
We were spectators.
Started racing as a little kid.
I got started racing at go-karts actually in 1983.
We had this little push pedal cart, and all the kids in the neighborhood kind of had different go-kart things.
We just had a car laying around. It was a 4-cylinder, and we just turned it into a mini stock, and we've just been kind of going from there.
Well, I started go-karts when I was about 7 years old. My dad put me in a go-kart and loved it ever since.
Early 90s we started in out at Raceway Park in the Enduro Series. So, to the hobby stocks and then raced the hobby stocks and raced out here at Elko Speedway.
We'd always push each other down the road. So I think that was a large part of it.
2007 I started at Raceway Park hanging out with my friend Terry Hawes, and ever since then I kind of wanted to jump into it and jumped into it, and it's been working at it ever since.
He started when I was born in '92, and then when I was 13, kind of threw me in a car and said, "Here you go, let her buck."
Well, we started on quarter midgets when I was 10 years old. Did a try you like it out at the quarter midget track and kind of fell in love with it then. That's where it started.
I started racing go-karts in 2000. I was at the 85 up at Sauk Center and raced ever since.
I raced over at the quarter midget track over here. I did that for 5 years or so. And then I started racing legends out here, and now I'm the super late model.
I got started at the age of 7 racing quarter midgets over at Little Elko. Racing since I was 7, loved it ever since.
And when I was growing up, I'd always build like model cars, but they weren't your normal hot rods. They were always stock cars with roll bars in.
Friends race, actually kind of blaming on the Purcell family, but you know, all my buddies race, so I kind of built the car and came on to have fun.
And we had a raffle by sponsors we got, and for each $25 we got one raffle ticket, and my ticket was drawn.
My dad actually started racing bombers at Raceway Park in 1998, and I raced his car in a powder puff race, I believe in 2000, and then by 2001 I was racing bombers, and that's where it started.
Dad grew up racing, just kind of got me into it. Started off in go-karts, slowly moved my way up in a mini stock, ran that for a couple years at Raceway Park, and now I'm running this thing in power stocks.
I started racing in 2008 at Midwest Karting Association in Eau Claire, Wisconsin, and raced there for a couple of years. Moved to Badger Car Club and moved up a class. I ran Yamaha Junior, and then 2 years ago I moved into these full time and have raced here since.
Raced karts for about 7 years. Left that in '91. 5 years later I bought a sprint car, raced that at Cedar Lake for 3 years. And then 3 years ago I bought my first Legends car.
I was watching it on TV and I was hearing about it in the news, and then I heard about legend cars, which are supposed to be an affordable, equal kind of racing, and I thought, I really want to get into that. So I pestered my parents until they really helped me out, and now I'm here.
So when I was old as I can remember, about 5 years old, I was out at the racetrack, and I've just always been at the racetrack. And as a little boy, you just dream of driving a car, and I'm driving a car.
And eventually it led me to Elko Speedway and Raceway Park. So they've always been my two homes anyways.
Actually, I don't know. I've been racing since I can remember, so maybe that is a true story. Could be.
So it's been that ever since.
Amplitude, baby!